What's up guys, SonicDolphin117 back again with another Killer Instinct character guide. Today we're going to be talking about Maya. Now, be forewarned, I am not as experienced with this character as other characters you might have seen in my guides. I play Glacius, Kimwoo, and Cinder, and well, maybe not Cinder as much today, but Glacius, Kimwoo, Shago, far more than I play Maya nowadays, but you know, I think I know enough with her to make a solid guide, but it's not going to be full of fun, super cool stuff like some of the other guys I've shown you. So, you know, set your expectations. So, Maya is a character that's known for her really, really good mobility, specifically her dashes, which I'll get into later when I go in depth with her mobility. And her damage output used to be the lowest in the game, but in Season 3 it's a lot better. A lot better. Because her ender levels build up faster and her hard knockdown deals more damage, which makes her damage dealing pretty solid. Although she does have a lot of moves that scale her damage quite a bit, so it's not usually that much. Maya's main draw is that her daggers, when she has them, she controls neutral very, very well, with really fast projectiles and really good normals. But if she misplaces her daggers, then her options become a lot more limited, and you end up being forced to fight at a disadvantage until you can retrieve them. Maya also has limited defensive options. She's got a good backdash, and a shadow reversal, but other than that, she doesn't have any good defensive options. And also, Maya's mix-up game is rather linear, mostly focusing around cross-ups and empty jumps, and maybe the occasional baits and stuff like that. But she doesn't have a lot of the crazy instant cross-up, plus unblock stuff that a lot of characters have. So how about we start talking about her mobility? Her mobility is really, really good. Her walk speed, it's not the best in the game, not even probably top 5 best in the game, but it's still good enough to play footsies with her good buttons. And she can compete with other footsies characters because of this walk speed. Her jump is pretty average, goes a bit high from what I can tell. Sorry about that last one, that wasn't right. It goes a bit high, but she can cover herself very well, and it's quite fast for its height. Sorry, I'm reading off a script, so sorry if it sounds like it if I sound stilted right now. Her greatest mobility tool is her dashes, because they are extremely fast, and her forward dash actually low profiles her, so she can duck under a lot of projectiles. Like, let's have I think it works against Mira. Let's try it. Yeah, she can duck right under a lot of the game's projectiles and just go in and go nuts. Following up on that, she also can combine her forward dash with her jump. So if you back jump off a forward dash, she'll do this somewhat stilted back jump, so see the distance. So from here, it's like a bit more than 2 squares. But you can see it's like half that. Sorry, I keep messing up. It's kind of weird to control this, but she has a slightly more stiff back jump, which is good for some setup stuff. Let me see if I can show that off. Yeah, I'm not great with Maya, like I said, but I'm going to try and show off some stuff. Like if someone gets off a soft knockdown, you might be able to back jump and hit them. I've seen some stuff with it. I'm not good with it, as you can tell. I'm not even doing it right there. But it can also help you with positioning sometimes if you don't want to jump too far away from your opponent. you can find your own uses for this. I don't really use this at all. Now, this is something I actually just learned today, believe it or not. If you tap up, like directly up during a roll, she has this super high jump, which is really good for juggles, and can also fake out the opponent thinking you're going to jump over them. It's pretty good, and I didn't even know you could do that. And her best one by far, though, is her forward jump off this, which sends her full screen, and can also make her very, very hard to catch because she can just jump around with cross-up stuff and daggers, and also even confirm from full screen using the stash. So it's probably one of her most useful mobility tools. And she also has this move, Leap Kick, which I'll get into later, which can also help her with mobility as well. So she's got a lot of mobility options. Alright, so how about we talk about her kick normals and her kick specials. We'll get into punches later. Standing light kick is also something I learned about today. It's +2 on block, but it's also pretty easy to see. It's not that fast on recovery, but it's still pretty good. Just for the sake of having a plus button that's fast. It has bad pushback, though. Well, not bad pushback. Blah. I can't believe I'm so bad at talking in these. It has good pushback, which is a problem, because Maya doesn't really get anything off of pushing your opponent away. So you need to be careful of that. I know I apologize for this every video, but I always mess up my words when I'm talking on camera. Or on recording, I should say. So stand light kick's alright. Crouching light kick is her fastest low, and it's also chainable. But unlike a lot of crouching lows, it's -3. So it's not the best move she has. Standing medium kick is her best footsie's poke. Walk in and out of range with this, annoy people, confirm from far away. You know, stuff like that. Just annoy people. Wait, let me see if I can... Yeah, like that. You can... It's a very, very good button. Crouching medium kick is a really good low. It's got good distance on it. It's -2. It should be your go-to low in Neutral Wars. It's very, very good. Standing heavy kick. This move is just okay. Oops. This move is just okay. It's pretty much your only tool against armor moves if you don't have daggers. So, and it's got some pretty short distance on it, so it's not the best tool ever. It hits twice up close, which can add to the damage a bit, but it also adds to the scaling as well as being shadow counterable, but no one's ever going to shadow counter this, let's be real. It's pretty fast, and it's good for confirms as well. Let me drain the PD. What else? We have her crouching heavy kick. It's her sweep, nothing really special to say. It's not unsafe like a lot of sweeps, but, you know, besides that, it's alright. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention close medium kick. Close medium kick is a 6-frame button that hits twice and also extends her leg. So it's actually really good for catching people who backdash on Wake Up, and it's also 0 on block, so you're not left at disadvantage if someone blocks this. The only thing you have to fear is shadow counters, but even then, not a lot of people react to this, so this should be your go-to meaty for backdashes. Unless you're using this, but this is a little worse on block, so. How about her jumping normals? Jump light kick, not really much to say. It might have good active frames, I don't really know. Maybe it'll beat out some stuff, but it's not great. In fact, let me see. It's got 13 active frames. It's not bad. So if you're trying to compete with Glacius Lance, this might be a good option for you. Jump medium kick is her non-dagger cross-up. It's got some short range behind her, but hey, it's something. At least she has one without her daggers. And jump heavy kick is her good and is probably her best air-to-air button, which sticks her leg out pretty far. And it's also good for full screen confirms off of this. as well. Now, how about we talk about her kick command normal, which is forward heavy kick. This, let me read this off the script so I don't mess anything up. This move flips Maya forward slowly and ends with an overhead kick. So yes, this is her only overhead. But one thing to note is that this does not count as a grounded heavy normal. If this hits armor, it's not going to ignore the armor, which is really weird to me, but whatever. You can't ignore armor with this button, despite the fact that it starts on the ground. And this move also recaptures, and has a really good hitbox on it, too. Like, why is the hitbox so big above her? You see that? That's pretty nuts. Like, just see that hitbox. It covers her head a lot better than you think it might. It's ridiculous. And it also recaptures, like I said. You're going to see me messing up a lot of juggles in this guy. Let me just warn you of that right now. So you can cash out your juggles like that. It also carries the momentum of a forward dash. So it does this. It goes about like a square length. And that one goes a little bit further. So this also combines with her dash, so you can surprise people from over here. And if you hold the command down, she will not kick with the overhead, meaning that you can go into lows or grabs. And just fake them out that way. Don't go for this move often, even though it seems really good because of the fact that you can fake people out, and it's her overhead, and it covers her head, and it recaptures. You should only go for this every once in a while because this move is -3 on block, and it's also slow startup at 34 frames, so a lot of wary opponents are probably just going to jab you out of this, and it doesn't matter what option you picked at that point. So just be careful of that. Now let's talk about Maya's 2 kick-based special moves. First is Tumble Kick, which is quarter circle forward kick. This is a 2-hit rolling strike that pushes Maya forward. This is the light version, this is the medium version, this is the heavy version. The heavy version obviously hits harder, goes further. And they're all the same on block. On hit, they're a little different, but they're all the same on block. And they're only 1 frame apart in terms of startup time. And they all recover at the same speed, too. Except for this one. Light one actually recovers slower. Why would we use this? Anyway. You will need to watch for shadow counters with this, because it does hit twice. And this also ground bounces, so this is a big part of her juggle game. Let's show it with the heavier versions. So you can do stuff like that. So yeah, this move is pretty simple, all things considered. It's just a simple forward advancing special that ground bounces and hits twice. Not much else to it. The shadow version is also pretty simple, and it hits at a rhythm of 1-2, 1-2, 1, leaving her 0 on block. And it's also upper body invulnerable. I didn't know that. There's a lot of stuff I'm learning just today about this character. It shows you how little experience I have with her. And the move is also projectile invulnerable, although I wouldn't recommend you use it for that, because its travel speed is not as fast as other shadows. So I wouldn't see you beating projectiles with this often. If you're going to beat projectiles, just roll under them or throw a dagger against them. It's not really a good idea to use this unless you're really close to your opponent. And you also have to watch out because there are small gaps in between each of these sets of hits. So between the 2-2-1, there's a small gap where the opponent can escape block stun and reversal you. So you don't want to use this on block against characters with reversals or on block in general, because characters will just punch you in the face with their reversals should you try it. So be careful when using this move. As a linker, this move carries the opponent towards the corner and also picks up any daggers that are on the floor. And the Ender version of this move is a hard knockdown and is also Maya's most damaging Ender. So go for this when you want to max out your potential damage. Alright, so how about we talk about her other kick special, which is Leap Kick, which is quarter circle back kick. This is oops, I read the wrong paragraph. This sends Maya upward with a spiral kick, and the strength of the move determines the horizontal distance. So this is the light version, this is the medium version, and this is the heavy version. The light version has some invulnerability, I think, but don't rely on it because, actually, let me see. Yeah, it does have some invulnerability because you see the green hitbox disappear for just a second there, but not a second, for just a moment. But don't rely on it. It's not really a reversal. Characters can stuff it pretty easily because the active frames come a bit later. So don't try this on Wake Up. It's generally not a good idea. If the move hits or whiffs, meaning if it's not blocked, Maya can throw a dagger afterwards to make herself safe or continue juggles. So you can do stuff like this. Yeah, you can do a bunch of fun stuff. And this move can be used as an anti-air, particularly the heavy one. I find is the most reliable as a far range anti-air, but it gets beat out by a lot of aerials from my experience, so don't rely on it as an anti-air too much. But if someone's occupying the space like 2 squares ahead of me, you might want to use it. And with daggers, it's also a really good positioning move to put yourself where you want to be, and maybe even get a quick whiff punish on the opponent who panics, which is pretty cool. So yeah, this move is useful for more than just an attack. A lot of people don't use this move because people can't find a use for it, but sometimes you just want to just use it out in the open and just position yourself if you're having trouble getting in. Or sometimes just use it as an anti-air if you feel like it'll work. So that pretty much sums up that move. The Shadow version is Maya's only reversal, and you cannot throw daggers after this in any scenario. And its damage output is not that great for a reversal, and let me see the PD it builds. It's alright. It's definitely far from the best Shadow reversal. It also starts up in, I think that's, wait. I'm pretty sure that's, 5 or 6 frames. I'm not really sure how to read the startup of Shadow moves. But, yeah, so it's not the best Shadow reversal, but sometimes you have to take what you can get. This move as a linker works very differently. It works as a backwards tumble kick, and it works the same way as a regular tumble kick, except backwards. And the Ender version is a launcher that flips the opponent over Maya's head, and also allows you to do fancy juggles. Man, I'm going to screw up the Mantis combos so hard later. And also one more thing is that Maya can manual into Shadow Leap Kick to get a Shadow Reversal Ender. So stuff like this. So I don't think this does significant enough damage. In fact, let me see. Wait. Let me just take away the PD. $23. 32. So it's alright. You might want to go for that sometimes. Alright. So I'm going to talk about Maya's daggers soon, and how they work, and how she has to manage them. But first, we're going to talk about her punch normals. And I need you guys to keep this next part in mind. Her punch normals are limited by the amount of daggers that she's currently holding. Light punch normals she needs to have the yellow dagger, which is called Temperance. For medium normals, she has to have the dagger called Vengeance, which is her purple one. And for heavy normals, she needs to have both daggers. So keep that in mind. And if you try and do any of these moves and press the punch buttons, you'll see the inputs on the top. You'll get the kick moves instead. So just keep that in mind. So standing light punch and crouching light punch are really quick pokes with good range, good for ticks, and are just really, really good jab checking buttons. Her medium punch buttons are actually pretty crap, if you ask me. This is a pretty much inferior poke to this. And the crouching medium punch has a target combo that you can just press it twice and do it, which is cool, I guess, but it's really not that great otherwise. This is still better, so if you're going to lose a dagger, lose Vengeance. And standing heavy punch is a really good move. This is a 2-hit strike that leaves you +5 on block and +6 on hit. And because the +6 on hit, you can link into a light punch if you're good. So you can do stuff like that. And it's a really good move to use against armor because it has surprisingly good range. And the second hit has a bit of a delayed hitbox, which can catch people who don't expect it. Like you see, I whiffed the first hit, but somehow the next one hits. Like from right here. No, from right here. Yeah, that's really weird, but it happens. Crouching heavy punch, this is a very, very important normal. This is probably one of the best anti-airs in the entire game. Let's have Mira jump. You can also juggle after this using your tumble kicks. And it hits behind Maya, it hits in front of Maya, so it can be used as a good V-manual. It starts up fast at 9 frames. It is generally a very, very good button that you should not ignore. And if you have both daggers, you want to save it for that button. Well, I guess not save it, but it's probably the main reason you want 2 daggers in your hands, because you want that anti-air. It's really, really important. Jumping light punch, not much to say about this. Jumping medium punch, not much to say about this either. But jumping heavy punch is a ridiculously good cross-up and can go for a lot of safe jump setups with stuff like this. If I can do it. Yeah, stuff like that works. I'm pretty sure that's a safe jump. Probably. And yeah, this should be what you're going for off stuff like this, where you want to cross people up with it. It's a very, very good aerial. If I can just land this. Well, it's not that godlike. There we go. And she also has 2 command normals that are only available if she has both daggers. First, she has Savage Strikes, which is pretty much a better version of this. Well, maybe not better, but it's basically another version of this that steps her forward and does 4 hits. This is +8 on blocks. You can actually link a medium afterward if I can just get it. It's pretty hard to do. Man, I'm messing up. I'll get it. It's like a 1-frame link. Maybe 1 or 2. I was getting this earlier. Crap. Quad! There we go. See that? I linked a medium right there. So you can go for stuff like that. Let's see if I can confirm it. Oh my god. Yay, I'm the best. Don't worry, that was all PD stacked up. She doesn't actually do that much damage. The main problem with this is, once again, shadow counters, and it's much easier to shadow counter than this. So just don't use this on people who have meter. It's better as a pressure tool when they don't. Because +5 is pretty good for landing some meaties and linking. If I can do it again. I don't know why I'm convinced I need to show it again. I already showed you. There we go. Alright. So her second command normal with punches is jumping down heavy punch. This is called Mantis, and it is a somewhat command grab, but not really, that catches jumping and standing opponents. This will completely whiff crouching opponents, and I'll show you guys. So she just rolls into them and she's left open for a short time. Won't hit them no matter what. So if you're trying to defend against Mantis, just crouch. But of course, if you're crouching, then I can just do this, and you're not going to block it. So it creates kind of a mix-up in the sky for Maya. Do you crouch to avoid Mantis, or do you stand up to block her aerials? It's up to you. Let's have her stand up. This move can only be used during a neutral or forward jump. If you try and do it from a back jump, like neutral works, forward works, tapped up works, full forward jump, leap, whatever works. But this does not work. Doing it from a back jump or this kind of back jump does not work. And also there is a height restriction. You can't just mash it out as soon as you jump, unlike before. You need to wait a second, like a few frames before you do it. So like right about here. You can't do it from here. You can't just hit it immediately. You gotta wait a bit. This move also cashes out juggles. Ah, here we go. I have to show a combo because I'm trash with these. So give me some breathing room with this. Just to see if I can get it. It's gonna take me a while, so give me a sec. Why? Yeah, I'm sorry guys, but I'm trash. If you have a stick, I envy you. Because I think a stick would make this a lot easier. Ah, I almost had it. Oh my god! Let me try a simpler one. I'm still trash. I'm dedicated to showing this off, damn it. Oh my god. Yeah, if you want to be a Maya main, yeah, please practice these and don't do what I did and just walk into a guide only trying to practice these for like 5 minutes. Sometimes that happens where you just don't pick up the daggers. Oh my god. Just give me a sec, guys. I promise I won't do it again once I get it the first time. I'm trying to do it without PD too. And this is why I'm never making an eagle guide. Oh my god, I keep screwing it up. Why, man? I'm holding down. You have to tap down, otherwise it doesn't come out. Oh, I almost had it. Oh my god, why? I'm just trying to reset, damn it. There we go! Really sorry about that. I think I'm better with this simpler one. If I can land it. Yeah, you know what? Forget it. You guys saw it. The mantis can catch out juggles. It's a lot easier in Instinct, trust me. You can just do that. Because you just have the daggers automatically. So, mantis combos are a lot easier in Instincts, but if you want to do mantis combos outside of Instincts, then you're going to have a tough time like I did. A lot of people tell me they're easy. Yeah, I got it again. Good. A lot of people tell me they're easy. I don't agree with them. I'm sorry. Outside of Instinct, I think mantis combos are very, very hard. And generally, if you're going to cash out juggles, I think it's just easier to do this. Just use the shadow move. Because it does more damage, and sure, it costs a meter, but it's nice to have a meterless cash out in a juggle because no character really has that unless they recapture. But still, it's just really hard to do, and I'm glad you guys, if you guys enjoyed watching me fail, I'm happy, and if you guys were cringing, I'm sorry, but I'm trying my best, I really am. Let's talk about Maya's normal throw. This doesn't really have very good range. Let me throw my daggers away for a sec. This doesn't really have very good range. And it's not a very interesting grab. It just knocks the opponent away and builds some PD. If you don't have any daggers, this is 2 hits. If you have 1 dagger, it doesn't matter which, this is 3 hits. And if you have both daggers, this is 4 hits. And it builds quite a bit of PD if you have all your daggers. So, you know, it's alright, but it should be used only when you're really up close and in their face. Alright, time to talk about Maya's dagger system. This is really, really important. And this revolves around her only punch special move, which is quarter circle forward punch. This move throws 1 or both of Maya's daggers. So the light version throws Temperance, the yellow one. The medium version throws Vengeance, the purple one. And the heavy version throws both of them, and launches the opponent. So daggers can also be thrown by pressing the corresponding punch button during a dash. So that was just me pressing light punch during a dash. This is me pressing medium punch during a dash. And this is me pressing heavy punch during a dash. And they can also be used in the air. And from elite kick as well. Now, once Maya throws the dagger away, she needs to go and get it. So she has a few ways of doing this. She can walk over it and press all 3 punches, which just picks it up. She can roll over it with a back dash or a forward dash. Or she can use a tumble kick over it, or drag someone to it while she's in a combo. So what the opponent should be doing is they should be trying to block Maya from getting the daggers back. So you see that they're over here, right? What the opponent wants to do is they want me to drive me over here so that the dagger is off screen and I have to go chasing after them. Actually, I think here's a better example, actually. What the opponent wants to do is position themselves there so that I can't backdash to my dagger and instead have to go in with a weaker arsenal and give them an extra chance before I try and flip them over my head and try and run back to it. And then I have a better chance of getting it if I manage to kick them over. And the opponent should absolutely guard her from her daggers. A lot of people ignore the daggers. Don't do that. Use them to your advantage. If you see a dagger is in front of you, then Maya is most likely going to tumble kick or roll to get it. Use that to your advantage. If there's a dagger behind her, she's likely going to backdash to get it. Go kick her in the face, you know? So use the daggers to try and predict Maya if you're fighting her. And be careful about getting your daggers if you're playing Maya, because you don't want to get punished for trying to go for them, even though they are very important to her. If the dagger's path is interrupted, either by a projectile, a blocking opponent, or opponent just got hit by it, it will drop right in front of them. And if the heavy one is interrupted, both daggers separate in both directions around this distance, as you can see. But if the opponent dodges it... Oh, oops. Oh my god. You see that it flies all the way into the corner most of the time. I think that if you're really far across the screen, like let me... I am not the best. So it goes about... Yeah, pretty much all the way to the corner. So if you miss a dagger, you're going to have to go distances to go get it. And I'm going to get her to stop jumping. It's making my eyes hurt. Honestly. So yeah, be careful with how you throw your daggers because you don't want to miss out on her good normals. And you don't want to have the opponent have a huge advantage over you throughout the fight. Now you may be wondering, why would I throw daggers? Why wouldn't I just hold on to them for these really good moves? Well, because dagger throw is really good. It's a fast projectile. You can whiff punish it with it really easily. It's not unsafe. You can do it from any range and make it good. You can confirm off full screen with this. It's just, they're very, very good tools, and you shouldn't neglect them because you're scared about losing some of your other tools. You have to make use of your full arsenal and just manage yourself so you can optimize it. And it has a lot of hit stun because it hits twice. So you can confirm off it in juggles, as you saw earlier. I don't know why I'm still going for this. I think there's something wrong with me. There we go, I got it. So you want to use it for stuff like that. You can also use it for recaptures. I think you can actually just throw one dagger. Yeah, you can just throw one dagger and get a recapture. That's how much stun it has. And you want to use Maya as a hit and run character because of it, because she can control a lot of the screen at once and make the opponent scared to move just from doing stuff like this. Oh, and I forgot to mention, if you hit them with a dagger after a roll, it flies backwards, which is good from far away, but not so good up close. The dagger throw can be used as a linker, and only as a normal linker is it breakable. So if you cancel it off an auto double, or a manual, then that's breakable. But if you do stuff like this, that's not breakable. And the juggles where you use it aren't breakable either. So now we're going to talk about Dagger's unique perks. So Maya has a meter above her shadow meter, as you can see right there, that represents her dagger levels. Let's have the opponent block. And each dagger level represents a ability that the heavy dagger gets when they're blocked. And they also allow you to extend dagger assault as well, which I'll get into later. And each of these levels are built separately from when they're blocked. So Temperance yellow hits once. Now I have 1 pip of that. Hits another time. I've got 2, now it's maxed out. Temperance purple. Oh my god. Hits once, got that. Hits 2, got that. So let's just expend these. So building these dagger levels is really easy because the opponent wants to block them a lot of the time. You want to cancel it off normals to get these pretty easy. They don't do any chip, so you want they don't do any damage on block. So the pips are pretty much the reason why you hit people on block with them, and they're very easy to build up. And another way that's really easy to build them is through Shadow Spirit Slicer, because you can do stuff like this, which is Shadow Core Circle Forward Punch. You can put it on their Wake Up, and they basically have to choose. Do they want to get hit by it, take the juggle hits, because it does launch. Let me have them not block. This move does launch if they get hit by it, so you need to recapture them. Or will they block it and just give you the pips that you want? Again, this is the Shadow version of the dagger throw. And of course, she gets separated from those daggers if she uses this. So she needs to go pick them up before she can use them again, and you make use of the pips that she built up. And you can also force them to block it. If you don't feel like letting them take the damage, you can just hit them with this, and they are forced to block it. Although they can shadow counter that move, remember, so be careful of that. So what do these dagger pips do? They power up the heavy dagger throw, or they power up dagger assault. And you want to use these two techniques often because you get pips very often, like I said. Unless, of course, the opponent doesn't block, but if the opponent doesn't block, then why do you need these in the first place? Just, you know, keep that in mind. Use these often. So each level on the daggers represents an upgrade that will apply to the heavy combined dagger when it is thrown. One yellow pip, so let me hit him once. Means that the dagger will bounce off the floor if it's off a jump. It'll bounce once and then separate across the screen. 2 yellow pips means that it will track the opponents. Let me see if I can show that off. See, I tried misting away and it tracked her. It tracks for a very long time. Even, oops, I'm still controlling her, it looks like. Oh, oops. Messed that up. It tracks for a while, so it's very, very hard to avoid it. Some characters like Glacius, if they have really good timing, can like Liquid Eyes under it. Some projectile invulnerable moves will last long enough to beat it, but for the most part, it's extremely hard to avoid. One Dark Pip means that it'll beat other projectiles. Pretty much any other normal projectile, it'll beat out. But it will, I'm pretty sure, still lose to Shadow Projectiles and Aghanos' Club and maybe Kim's Dragons as well. And 2 Dark Pips means that it's unblockable. You just straight up can't block it. You can force them to get hit by it while doing stuff like this to get pretty much a free juggle. And, of course, when you have all your pips, this thing is homing and unblockable, which means it's pretty much a free combo in most scenarios. And what the opponent wants to do when you have this is the opponent wants to get into the air and in an awkward position to make it hard for Maya to confirm off it. So if I'm over here, I might have trouble trying to confirm. If the guy's just jumping around and it hits them in the air, you gotta have good timing, yada yada yada. But if I'm good, then I can just confirm and go into stuff like this, maybe even pick them up and mess with them. So yeah, this should probably be your most used technique for pips. And it's just very, very simple and risk-free. The only risk that you're taking is that you might lose your daggers, but the chances of this hitting the opponent are so big that the risk isn't that great, I find. So it's pretty good. Now the second use of daggers, second use of dagger levels is the Dagger Assault Ender, which is the Ender version of her Dagger Toss, Corsical Forward Heavy Punch. Let's build up the pips again. Let's have her not block anymore. So what this does is it does relatively low damage and places the daggers over her head, where they attack at a 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2 rhythm. And the amount of times they strike depends on how many pips you have. So if I just do it right now, they'll only each attack once. And once it's done, they both separate. Now you may be wondering, okay, maybe not you may be wondering. And the daggers only hit mid, they don't hit overhead. And if Maya's hit, the daggers instantly separate. So let me, yeah, they just instantly go away if she gets hit. So this move is generally looked down on by many players, as it is extremely hard to make this move worth the risk. The amount of damage you get off this will be rather stunted at times because of the scaling. Like, let me have her block this so we could show it off here. So like the damage you get is kind of stunted because they scale the KV a little bit. You can like juggle off your hard knockdown ender if you have good timing. But the damage you get off your combos is going to be less because the daggers scale KV and damage quite a bit. And what you want to do with this, let me build it up again. This is kind of tedious, but must be done. So what you want to do with this is you want to go for a lot of resets. And a good way to do that is through cross-ups. Just create some small gaps where the daggers aren't stunning them and try and reset the scaling to get a little more damage out of it. And it's very hard to make this move worth the risk you're taking. Losing pips really isn't the problem. It's losing your daggers and some of the damage you could have gotten off a different ender. And personally, this move is one I only use to close out rounds when I feel like the hard knockdown ender isn't enough, because it gives me an easy chance to try and confirm another combo and makes it a little more likely that I'll get that combo. And sometimes I like doing it to mess with people and try and vortex them, but it doesn't always work out. And it's very situational. Against some characters who move around a lot, like Shadow Jago or Mira or other Mayas, the move is a little bit better because it makes them stay still. if you're patient, but again, they can hit you and they'll go away, so you still need to be careful yourself while also trying to capitalize on the damage. You see the problem here? Again, there might be something with this move that people haven't discovered yet that makes this move really good, but as of now, it's a pretty situational move that should be mainly used to close out rounds and mess with your opponent. And she's also plus after this ender, so if you use it in the corner, then she'll have a little bit better chance of starting the way she wants, but she also doesn't get to cross people up in the corner. Whereas mid-screen, you can go for stuff like this, where I feel like Dagger Assault's a lot more potent, because her mix-up game without daggers in her hands is a little worse. And finally, let's end it off on Maya's Instinct. So Maya's Instinct, first of all, instantly returns the daggers to her hands no matter where they are, which is really, really important because if the opponent is blocking the screen and Maya just can't get to those daggers and she's taking a lot of damage, she will be able to get them back through that. And for the duration of Instinct, her daggers automatically come back to her. So you can do dumb stuff like this. And of course, like I said, the mantis combos are a lot easier. And yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about Maya. I guess Instinct can also be said it makes your stuff less risky. But I think that's kind of self-explanatory. You know, Dagger Assault's a little bit better now because even if you get hit, the daggers will just come back to you. But again, it's nothing too complicated. It's just daggers come back to you. Just use them as much as you want. And anyway, that's it for the Maya guide. I hope it was helpful to you guys. I hope these guides aren't too sloppy for your standards. I'm just trying my best to get some information out there because this game doesn't have a lot of people who do stuff like that. And I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.